Hi, it's Angela, and you are listening to Divinely Connected. I am here with your weekly guidance for September 22nd through to the 28th. Hard to believe. We are into the fall season. It is a time of abundance and harvesting. Really great time for reflection, reflecting on all that you have endured, achieved, moved through, learned from within this calendar year. It is a really pivotal time of year where there's a lot of renewal and reflection, but it's very much balanced and anchored with gratitude and this feeling of success, like we've made it through it. And some of you are having major life changes over the next 8 weeks, and some of you are getting to that internal um contentment and internal peace. So for some, it reflects physically, material wise. For others, and probably for the majority, it's going to reflect internally peace, contentment, happiness, joy, etc. All right. And so it is just this really wonderful year. If you have been having still a little bit of um what's confusion or lack of clarity, especially with that last full moon, um you're not alone. There's been a lot of conversations and a lot of people feeling along the lines of like, what am I doing? Where am I going with my life? Okay. And so these questions come up during eclipse season. It's coming up. It is very much on divine timing for you to have these big burning questions. Don't use it as a measure of failure. Use it as an opportunity to explore. And I think that's going to be so pivotal over the next, because there is this feeling as we inch towards the end of the calendar year that we're getting more and more free, more and more liberated. All of the scarcity and the resistance and the tight tie that we have on ourselves, like that tight leash type of feeling, is starting to loosen. Okay. Once we kind of get a little loose, then we may actually forget how to proceed or what that feels like, because it has been so rigid for so long. And so, if you are having these burning questions, if you're feeling still that lack of clarity, wanting you to utilize that as an opportunity to reflect, an opportunity to get curious, an opportunity to be okay with not having the answers. Because what is coming in, period. Coming in the timeline that it needs to, period. Your life by design is preparing you for the next, no matter what the next is. Okay. And so just trusting in the path, and getting used to having flexibility again and having creative freedom again, or even just the energy to be creative, because when we're in that scarcity mindset, usually creativity goes out out of the foresight, or out of possibilities. Okay. There is death. Yeah. What is this? Okay. There's a decision that needs to come in, and you're just really not feeling it. Like you're not feeling confident. You're not feeling secure. There's a lot of self-doubt coming in. There is this reminder that you have the power though. Okay. And so again, choose wisely. There's many things that are up in the air for you. There's decisions that are coming in. The shadow card is coming full on with doubt, with fear. Okay. What if, what if, what if? What if I fail? What if this doesn't work out? What if I'm wrong? Right? Well, if we're going to be doing the what ifs, then let's do all the what ifs. What if I succeed? What if I'm right? What if I'm onto something? What if I am walking the right path? Okay. And so wanting to balance that what ifs with the positives as well. Okay. Very important. Remember that you are the creator of your destiny. You are the creator of your experience. If you're not enjoying yourself, then you have the power to change it. And a lot of the time, it is changing what's in here, not so much what's out there. Okay. And so we like to change the outside. We impulsively cheat, we impulsively spend our money, we impulsively numb ourselves or take or drink substances. We may impulsively start a fight. We may get a little drama going. Um, all to distract ourselves from feeling what it is that we're feeling. And so remember that if we really want that happiness, if we really want that peace and that contentment, that's an internal job. We may change our job, our lovers, our homes, our hairstyles, our clothes, our body shape, but that will always only be temporary until you get that sense of peace and contentment and security within. So this is very much an inside job. And a lot of the times when we're in this discontentment, when we're in this feeling of like, what am I doing? Where am I going? The answer is almost always inside. And so before you want to distract with an outward change, go inward and see, okay, well, what's going on in here? All right, because that's where the true power lies. All right. There's the triumph card coming in. There is something that we were wanting to have come in for you. It's like a vision that you were seeing, and it is going to bring that balance in. It is coming in as a success for you. Okay. So not only are you making the right decisions there, okay, but it is coming in as a success. There is this feeling of what you need is showing up, which is so nice because I feel like it's taken its sweet time. In the sense of like, well, geez, like I've been wanting to get this going and I just couldn't find the contractor, couldn't get the doctor, couldn't get the financing, couldn't find the lover, whatever it is. They couldn't find the solution, couldn't find the answer. All of a sudden, we're in this harvest season where we are receiving. Okay. And so this is coming in. There is a positive moment, a positive, like missing piece that's coming in this week for you as well. And it is something that you have been manifesting and that you've been hoping and wanting for, because I could see you holding it in your mind's eye. Okay. There is the transformation coming in. And because of the waiting game, it is, listen, this is an abundant season. Okay. Over the next, 8 to 9 weeks, it is very abundant in the sense of harvesting, in the sense of receiving blessings, receiving momentum, things that we've been waiting on to wrap up, to get the approvals, to get the answers, to get the results. It's all coming in this time. It is not coming in hot. All right. There is the waiting game. It's still trickling. Okay. That is putting us into a fury. Okay. There is this, listen, you don't want it if it's not for you. You don't want it if it's not your time. You don't want it if it's not for your highest good. And so let's stop trying to push and manipulate, and let's go into trust and allowing. That doesn't mean that we are not going to go do the things that need to get done to get us moving forward, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying like, hey, if you have always wanted to lose weight and you're just going to sit on the couch and wait for it to happen. You still have to like exercise, and you still have to watch what you're putting into your body, right? But you're going to trust the process. You're not going to get on the scale within 48 hours, right? And get yourself discouraged. You're going to trust the process. You're going to trust that it's going to come in the time that it's meant to come in, so that it is for your highest good, for the longevity. Same thing comes with lovers. Same thing comes with job changes, renovations, home buying, right? You want what is yours. You don't want to push timelines. You don't want to manipulate. You don't want to abandon your intuition, abandon your soul, and just do it anyways. Because when we do, that's when we have regret. Okay. And so things are taking its time. It's still blessings. It's still gratitude. It's still answers. You have to be patient as they come in. This is going to be a challenge for you. You're really going to fight yourself with that. Okay. And there is going to be a lot of self questioning connected to that. But there is this peace and trust that the path is the path. Everything is by design. The tapestry is laid, right? And if you look back, and this is what I find is so helpful when I'm in those seasons of impatience, is because hindsight's 2020. because there is nobody here tuning in that cannot look in the past of their life and see how things had to line up in certain ways and how this happened that led me to here, that led me to here so that I could receive this. You can see it. You can see that invisible thread. You can see that divine path looking back. We're blind AF going through it during our in our present mode, right? When we're presently moving forth. That's where faith comes in. That's where we have this need. That's where we check in with our soul and we listen to that true, authentic, intuitive voice and not the noise and the chaos and the impatience of our ego, our mind. Okay. So wanting to go within. Go back to a time where without a doubt, without a doubt that everything had to work out in the ways that they did. Okay. An example that I had, which was way before I even knew about my gifts, was way before I was living a spiritually minded life. We were living out west, and my husband, on a whim, right, applied to the job that he has now. And it was kind of like, oh my God, right? Like, oh, we have the opportunity to move back home, which was a dream, right? We wanted to move home. We wanted to raise our family here. This came about. Well, you know what? He has until his first day of work is July 1st. That gave us the exact, like, I think it was like 32 days to get our house on the market, sell it, and move across the country, right? And so we figured we had about a 5-day wiggle room of selling our house, sold it in 3 days, right? We got into a bidding war with the house that we're in now, decided to walk away from it and being like, okay, this is getting out of hand. A week later, their financing fell through. We had the opportunity again to come back into the home that we're in now. There was so much that happened that had to happen for us to be where we are in the timeline that we needed to be. We were just a hope and a prayer with our fingers crossed. I think at that time we were so young and naive that we were just like, well, it's just going to work out. And it did. Right. And so we do get a little bit more judgmental. We get a little bit more critical the older that we are, just because we just, absorb so much of the craziness that this life can bring. But there is this feeling of like, that's something that I always go back to, being like, everything that had to happen happened. We were clearly meant to be where we're at now. We're clearly meant to have that experience and to have that change. I know if you think right now in this moment, share with us in the comments below. What was your moment or your experience where you just knew? Whether it was I went to the grocery store that day and that's where I met my husband, or I wasn't really qualified for this job, but I said, F it, I'm gonna try. And all of a sudden, there you are, thriving, right? Whatever it is, there's moments that you look back in your life and you're just like, everything worked out in the ways that it needed. Or if you were with someone that wasn't for your highest good, and you just happened to fumble on some truth telling experiences that then led you to this experience, that then led you to that experience, and now you're the happiest you've ever been. We all have them, right? That's divine timing. That's your divine path. We often, as humans, because our mental mind loves to go to the negative, only focus on the suffering. Okay. Just as divinely timed. And I know that as humans, we don't like to hear that. But everything is very intentional. Everything is to provide lessons, is to provide experiences for us to expand as consciousness and expand our soul. So there is a lot of divine threading that comes into all experiences. And your hindsight is going to allow you to reflect. And when you do, it reminds you, it brings in that confidence, right? Reminds you and brings in that confidence that allows you to be at peace with the opened end or the loose ends that are in front of you. Everything is working out in the ways that it needs to for you right now. Okay. There's a positive movement forward. So it's getting there. Recognition and reward, feeling rewarded for it, and bringing in that new beginning. You know what this says? Once you get out of that discontentment and that resistance and even resentment to things not happening in the timeline that you want, or you just want the changes now and enough's enough, right? Once you release it, you're back into the flow. And there's the positive movement forward. There's a recognition and reward. There's the new beginnings that you've been wanting. You've been wanting them. You've been manifesting. You're ready, right? And so releasing the need for it to be in your timeline actually does giddy up that timeline. Okay. Um, Big financial changes coming in as well. Okay. Big financial changes coming in as well. Reminding you that you have the strength. There is this kind of, just like your head is rocking. It's just so much, right? So give yourself mental breaks. Give yourself being like, okay, you know what? I don't need to make a decision over the next 60 minutes. I'm going to let myself just not, right? I'm going to mindlessly unplug, or I'm going to go for a walk, or there does need to be this mental care. Okay. Because there is a lot of conflict, a lot of back and forth. Okay. Because there is changes coming in financially, right? So to your assets, to your material belongings, cars, homes, properties, debt consolidations, that type of thing. Okay. As well as how money is coming in. So like income changes, job changes, title changes, that type of thing. And so this is a time. There's a lot of anguish around these decisions, but I'm telling you, they feel safe and secure. Yeah, there's hope. There's like it's not without. I just dropped the card. It's not without challenges, because that was the obstacle card that I dropped. But doesn't mean that it's a no. It just means that you're going to um navigate it to your best of the ability. You're going to ask for help when you need to ask for help. You're going to let go of what you need to let go. And maybe it's a dream, or maybe there's nostalgia. Maybe there is sentimental attachments. Okay. But there is this feeling of purging. There is this feeling of moving forward, and wanting to remind you that it's safe and hopeful for you to do so. Okay. Especially, political climate, interest rates, just the cost of living. Like, I get it. I feel like the biggest burden for everyone is trying to make these financial decisions. Okay. And what to do, and don't want to get ourselves in trouble, and don't want to get ourselves in a sticky situation, or feeling like if we're in a very tight and struggle situation that there's not going to be help, or there's not going to be answers. There absolutely is. That climate is also changing. Okay. Needing to have the patience, and there it is. There's the fulfillment of wishes, answer prayers coming through. Okay. There is also this conscious decision around releasing suffering. And what I mean by that is sometimes we are the problem. Sometimes our attachment to only focusing on the negative, and only talking about our problems, and only seeing the negative in the world, um, colors every moment of every day. And you do get to choose the color of lenses that you look through. Also, there are moments of time in our life that are extremely hard, and there's loss, and there's illness, and there's heartbreak, and there's devastation. Um, and sometimes it's hard to untouch from that. Sometimes that becomes our identity. And sometimes we find comfort in identifying as that suffering, or that loss, or that um, type of hardship. That may bring comfort temporarily, but it will absolutely derail your path. And it will absolutely keep you in a season that you have no business in staying in. Okay. Remember, everything in life is fluid. We're meant to move through it. We are meant to have emotions and have them move through us. We are not meant to identify as them or attach to them. Okay. Same with our experiences and our seasons that we are in. And so, good or bad, suffering or achievements, if we identify, if we feel like, oh, that's the essence of my identity, then you're quite wrong, right? That's an experience that you went through, that will then prevent you from having any other experiences or growth. And I think we all kind of know someone that you could understand that statement with. And so there is this need to kind of check in and being like, okay, if I only have control over myself and really I am the captain of my ship, am I leading my ship efficiently? Or am I steering myself into danger, or am I in a continuous cycle where I'm just going in circles and circles and circles? And that sense of self reflection is going to be extremely powering for you because you have the ability to change your story no matter where you're at in your life path. Okay. Um, there seems to be there seems to be, I don't want to say unwelcomed. Yeah, maybe unwelcomed experience that's coming in into your root chakra, so your life experience. Um, it almost feels like like I don't know the word I'm looking for. I want to say audit, but it's not. I mean, it could be, but ugh, that word itself gives me anxiety. Inventory, held accountable, inquired, investigation, inquiry, performance review. It's kind of like this sense of like cards on the table type of situation that's coming in either into like your personal relationships, your health, or your job. That's the feeling that's coming in. Feel quite the discomfort, right? 5 is conduit of change. It is coming out as as a success, okay? And so I will say that message brings up a lot of anxiety, it brings up a lot of discomfort. And so if you're put in a vulnerable situation or you're feeling like you're exposed, the outcome is positive, okay? And so if that one is definitely going to mean different things to who is listening, okay? And so whatever that sense of putting yourself out there or having yourself out of your comfort zone, you're not going to fall on your face. It is coming in as a triumphant success. It is coming out as that wanted outcome, okay? That's going to really bring in some passion. It's really going to help you move forward, get things going. You're really aligning more with your truth, and there is this very abundant, prosperous time for you. That feels like October for me. And so for the next week and in a few days, there is going to still continue to be this feeling of reflection. And again, that kind of like peeking under the covers, looking behind the veil or looking in your closets type of feeling of vulnerability and anxiety that comes with it, potential judgment or etc. Um, that is an opportunity for you to do for yourself as well. This could be a reflection, a check in for yourself as well. Okay. What am I doing? How am I doing? How am I feeling? How am I showing up for myself in this life? Am I creating the life that I want? Am I feeling good in my everyday life? How am I feeling when I wake up? And again, holding yourself accountable. It really makes us uncomfortable when we have to admit when we're wrong or we have to take ownership. Um, and a lot of the scarcity that has been in the 23 and 2024 has really changed our views. And so if you're someone who's like, of course I'm optimistic and it's very subtle. I catch myself all the time in these ruts being like, what am I saying to myself? Right. And I teach this and I talk about it all the time, like daily, if not weekly. Right. And so it can be very subtle that we kind of get into this absorbed pattern or we're feeling like underappreciated or there's lack of gratitude around us or there's this narration of discontentment as we're moving through our day. And so there does need to be some self accountability coming in and that type of looking in the dark corners of ourselves is coming in and needing to have that honesty and that ability to sit in the discomfort and that ability to show up for yourself. I think is going to be just so important over the next week and a half as we get ready to enter into October. um that as a whole, a lot of energy wanting to reassure that the momentum is coming in. And again, reminding us that we are in abundant season. We are in the season of harvest. And so answers are coming in, situations are wrapping up, momentum is coming in, but we must have patience. This is not an overnight thing. Okay. There is a lot of peace and contentment and a slow rollout coming in as we move through over the next 8 weeks. All right, everyone. I'm going to leave that with you. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Sunday.